brothers and others, no matter what you are. When the powers that be want to bury your bliss, you don't have to be okay with this. It's time to break open your chrysalis and spread your wings and fly. Butterflies, spread those wings.
This is Reno Lovison, executive producer at Chicago Broadcasting Network. Without a doubt, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil is the best musical I've seen in years. You'll be hearing a lot about this for some time as word spreads of this world premiere production, currently at the Goodman Theater. The action begins, revealing a spectacular Spanish moss-draped, dimly lit atmospheric set by Christopher Oram, worthy of a grand opera. We come to learn in the opening number, Bonaventure, that we're in an aged cemetery in Savannah, Georgia. Voodoo practitioner Minerva wails a ghostly incantation as various figures move silently among the monuments. As the lights come full, the tone shifts. It's daylight, and Jim Williams continues the song, explaining where we are and introducing us to some of the quaint customs of Savannah society, including the reverence for the past and importance of social drinking. Over the course of the play, we learn that Jim Williams is a gay antiques dealer and nouveau riche restorer of homes. His pride and joy is the restoration of Mercer House, a stately but at one point quite neglected derelict mansion built by the great-great-grandfather of famed composer Johnny Mercer. The Mercer connection is interesting because Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil is based on a true story. In fact, it's actually a true crime story that interweaves high society with a number of alternative lifestyle individuals and others considered outside the elite social strata, including a gay man and his white trash lover, a drag queen, and an African-American debutante. The 1980s era high society Savannah ladies, led by Emma Dawes, fond of mentioning her invitation to the White House, intersect with the rest through Williams and a mutual love of restoring old Savannah homes. This is not a whodunit. We come to learn soon enough who did it. Rather, this is a story of restoration, not only the restoration of houses, but also the quest to restore one's life, and indeed one's soul. The parallel story is that of Lady Chablis, a popular drag queen who treats the audience to a very enjoyable and frank performance at the Shed, where she is the headliner. Lady Chablis loses her job after a particularly bawdy performance, setting her on a quest to restore what she perceives to be her deserved station in life. The story is not too complicated. It's there to move the action, and this show is all about the action, presented as a series of vignette performances, more like burlesque scenes, any one of which would wow a Las Vegas nightclub in the 1980s. Keep in mind that this is a period piece that takes place in a very particular place at a very specific time. Some might argue that the portrayal of LGBTQ characters are somewhat two-dimensional, even stereotypical, which is how they generally were portrayed at the time. But at least in the 1980s, they were beginning to be seen, and their stories could begin to be presented to a mainstream public. Perhaps in the new millennium, we're a little bit more enlightened. For some, indeed many, perhaps not. The audience's sympathy for Williams and appreciation for the talent and struggle of Chablis means we're breaking through and seeing these individuals as real people, not simply cardboard cutouts. The music and lyrics by Jason Robert Brown is phenomenal and inspired, hearkening back to the great American songbook and jazz stylings of the 20th century. One lyric describing Savannah says something like, "If your idea of an ante leads towards antebellum, ... That's vintage Tin Pan Alley. Perhaps inspired by Mercer and others, there are notes of Sondheim as well. But this work is not derivative. It's fresh and unique. Each number is expertly performed by arguably one of the most impressive performance companies to grace a Chicago stage in recent memory. From Guy and Hewitt at the top, through to every swing dancer, each performer is top-notch. When this show moves to Broadway, which it undoubtedly will, it'll run for years. When Brianna Buckley as Minerva begins her incantation, we know this is going to be something interesting. But when Tom Hewitt begins his part of Bonaventure with his amazing voice, we know we're in for something special. Likewise with J. Harrison Gee as Chablis, when she does her number at the Shed Shack, buckle up, because you're going on an unexpected ride. Let There Be Light in the first act is a showstopper, and Butterflies was a touching and fitting finale. Bodges as Dawes offers much of the comic relief, but her impressive soprano gives her songs added dimension that takes them beyond novelty numbers. Lift Her Up, led by Bobby Hutchins with dance performances by ingenue Lavelle Cole and company, is certain to become a staple at every cotillion, bat mitzvah, sweet 16 graduation, and some weddings for a long time. Congratulations to the Goodman for assembling such a high-caliber cast of performers and production team. From the set design, including a spectacular chandelier, lighting, music, costumes by Tony Leslie James, and an outstanding choreography by Tanya Berry Torres, aided by incredible swing dancers who were able to execute their moves, all brought together in a seemingly effortless fashion by director Rob Ashford, with musical direction by Thomas Murray. Opening night was one to remember. John Berendt, the author of the best-selling book, was on hand for the curtain call and to see his new musical version written by Taylor Mack come to life. The excitement of the evening spilled out into the street as people chattered about what a great time this was. This show runs nearly 3 hours, including a 15-minute intermission. Likely, they'll find ways to make more cuts and trims as they see what works and what doesn't, but I'd hate to be the one making those decisions. Every number is a gem. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil at the Goodman Theater is at 70 North Dearborn Street in Chicago, and it's been extended already through August 11, 2024. Running time is about 2 hours and 45 minutes with one 15-minute intermission. For tickets and information, visit goodmantheater.org or call the box office at 312-443-3800. It would be a true crime to miss this. This is Reno Lovison for Chicago Broadcasting Network.
When the powers that be want to bury your bliss, you don't have to be okay with this. It's time to break open your chrysalis and